Hi, my name is Joseph, and welcome to part 17 of chapter 1 of Eiji Wolf of the Ninth Avenue from Digimon Seekers. So this part begins with the introduction of the Wolf of the Ninth Avenue, Logormon. He has just evolved from Logomon, and he has an abundance of energy, so much so that it's flowing off his body as fire. And he utilizes his attack, Howling Burner, against Numemon, and unfortunately for Numemon, the abundance of slime that he may have is not enough to protect him from the flames of Howling Burner. And so Numemon is injured, and it's described at this point that when it's mind linked, if the Digicore gets damaged enough, it'll actually impact the partner from the mind link as well. Thus, anything that the Digimon is feeling will also be felt by the digital partner too, by the tamer, which is pretty cool. I like that detail. At this point, the Commandramon and Cargodramon, they swoop in to provide support as they retreat, they being Setsuki and Numemon. Cargodramon utilizes its rooters to put out the fire, and he picks up Numemon and Setsuki, and they go away. Go away as in they do a tactical retreat. While flying away, the part does transition over to Satsuki's point of view. As it turns out, she's quite upset from the incident. She promises that she'll be going after Eiji Nagazumi, or rather Codecracker Fang should be going after him. And one of the Commandramon, her subordinates, reminds Satsuki that her mind link is quite impaired. It might be best to separate, or rather, it might be best to disengage the mind link. And Satsuki states no, she does not want to do that. After that, the part transitions back to the perspective of Eiji and Logomon, and everything's quieting down. Did I say Logomon? I meant Logarmon. He's still evolved. He has not de-evolved back to his Logomon or rookie state or child state. Logarmon explains that it's looking like each time he evolves, he's starting to get more memories from his past. Eiji describes his amnesia as a bit weird, but what does Eiji know? Eiji states that his knowledge of amnesia comes from comic books and media, essentially. And pardon me, when Logomon first evolves, it's looking like the translation implies that Satsuki also recognizes who Logomon is, and she states it's the boss of this Ninth Avenue. So that's the detail that I accidentally glossed over, excuse me. So at the beginning of the part 17, it's explained. I have the detail right here. That Demon Wolf of the Castle of Nine Wolves, that description is used by Satsuki to describe the Digimon boss of Ninth Avenue. So it turns out Logormon was indeed the quote-unquote boss of Ninth Avenue. So as a quick reminder, don't forget that it's explained the last part that each region of Wasslum is commanded by a boss, quote-unquote. So that's why it's very territorial. One needs to be careful where they're going. And once everything quiets down, it's looking like the residents of Ninth Avenue, they start coming out, Digimon, and they start chanting Logormon, Logormon, Logormon. And essentially, at this point, it transitions over to a rooftop where that Digimon who's clad in rags, he's viewing everything. And sorry everyone, I was stumbling with my words right there. He speaks to his handler, which is the Sons of Chaos interviewer, and the interviewer reminds this mysterious Digimon that it was quite rude of him to report them being Eiji and Logomon, to the Digipolice. But the mysterious Digimon explains, well, they were able to take care of themselves anyway, so everything is fine. He then reviews himself, and it turns out he's Doromon. And it's also revealed that he also has an interface item on his forehead the same way that Logomon does as well. It's also explained that this interviewer, they're hoping to recruit as many mind linkers as they can. And although they're impressed with Logomon, they're going to hold reserve judgment for Eiji. But it's looking like he did pass the test. So as always, let's read the last portion. So, the Ragged Cloth Digimon suddenly feels a strong wind. It has a bushy tail. The Digimon that appears from under the rags is plain in color, and at first glance it looked like a small animal, such as a squirrel. However, it is said that the data of the Phantom Beast dragon that has been handed down from mythology is stored in its Digicore. The only evidence of that are the dragon wings sprouting from its back. Doromon's forehead has the same interface as Logomon's. And that's how part 17 ends. So That's where we'll end with the summary. We'll move on to the analysis. So right off the bat, it's looking like we are going to get one more part. We're not yet done with chapter 1. And to be honest with everyone, I'm quite fine with that. I was worried that this part would be the end of chapter 1. And whenever chapters end with an action-packed scenario, it could go one of two ways. It either ends in such a way that it leaves the reader feeling intrigued, or it ends in such a way that it kind of feels not a waste of time, but kind of feels like, what was the point of this fight? This is how we're going to end it. Nothing really came from that. So I'm happy that this was not the end of chapter 1. It is looking like we are going to get a part 18. We might have 20 parts for chapter 1. Who knows? Or maybe part 18 will be the ending of chapter 1. So far, though, I am really appreciating, although it might be a slow pace, I am appreciating the world building. I'm appreciating the setting up of the characters. And with that being said, let's go ahead and start looking at the quotes that I picked out, because this is one quote in particular from Sasutsuki that I do want to review or look at. But we're going to start with, I'm reserving judgment for now. Oh. Excuse me, everyone. This is one of the last ones I want to look at. Let me go ahead and put this in its appropriate position. Okay. Sorry about that, everyone. Thank you for your patience, though. So this is the first quote. The demon wolf at the castle of 9 wolves. I've heard that line before. It was used to describe the Digimon boss of 9th Avenue. Setsuki grits her teeth. Magic and fire converge, and Loromon's mouth. A flash. Howling burner. A compressed high heat flame shoots out. No amount of mucus can defend against it. The Numimon takes a direct hit that causes it to wriggle and thrash about. Sasutsuki screams, Numimon, my precious Numimon. When a partner's Digimon is damaged so severely that it cracks the Digicore, the mental data of the mind-linked human cannot remain unharmed. The damage to the Digimon will cause pain and stress signals to their consciousness. So I want to look at 2 parts in this quote. The first part being that pertaining to the translation. So I'm going to be honest with everyone. When it's stated the demon wolf or the castle of 9 wolves, I've heard that line before. It was used to describe the Digimon boss of 9th Avenue. I'm not sure if that's coming from Sasutsuki, but I'm pretty sure that it is. The reason why I'm saying I'm quite unsure is because I am reading the official. Excuse me, let me start over. I am reading the official, quote unquote official, because it's not officially translated; it's machine translated. But I'm reading the official one from Bandai Namco. There is a fan translation who they do know how to speak and read Japanese, so they're translating it and making it a lot more. The transcription's a lot more one-for-one as compared to the translation. I did look at that really quickly last week. And it's looking like maybe I may have misunderstood where the lines coming from the characters last week. So that's why I'm not going to say that 100% this is Sasutsuki speaking, but it's looking like it is her talking. The reason why I say that is because I've heard that line before. It was used to describe the Digimon boss of 9th Avenue. Eiji has already heard this line from multiple individuals of the Digimon before this event. So that's why I do believe it's Sasutsuki. The reason why, if it is Sasutsuki, what I really like about that portion is how it's really building up this mystery about who specifically Loromon is. Although, as an audience, we are obviously aware that Loromon has amnesia, that he was part of the Waslum's community in some way. We're not entirely sure in what way. It's looking like he was a positive element of Waslum, or specifically of the 9th Avenue. And I say that because obviously the way that it ends, if individuals that have a positive memory or recollection of Loromon, they wouldn't be coming out of hiding and chanting Loromon, right? They'll more than likely remain in hiding and wait until Eiji and Loromon goes away, and then they'll come out and probably say something like, oh no, he's back. The demon wolf of 9th Avenue is back. We're screwed, right? But that's not occurring. So although it's a minor line, I like how it does add to that mysteriousness. And then the second part I want to look at is just more world building. When a partner's Digimon is damaged so severely that it cracks the Digicore, the mental data of the mind-linked human cannot remain unharmed. The damage to the Digimon will cause pain and stress signals to their consciousness. I like that because it really adds more weight to the partnership of the mind-linked human and mind-linked Digimon. One might be fighting, but if enough damage is done, both will be feeling the repercussions for that. I know some people may not like it when the humans combine with the Digimon. To be frank, I'm neutral about it when it comes to Frontier, but I did really enjoy it when it came to Tamers. It's obviously used differently, right? Because in Tamers, they being the Digimon, evolved individually, separately from their Tamers up into their last evolution, their ultimate slash perfect evolutions, where they combine with their human partner. I think that the build up to that type of evolution was done really well. When compared to Frontier, on the other hand, that's just from the beginning of the show, right? There are no digital partners. Whenever a fight occurs, the humans turn into Digimon. So I'm really liking how we're kind of going in the middle with this mind-linked idea. Although the humans can't go inside of the Digimon, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're controlling the Digimon. They're just kind of piggybacking on their consciousness, and they're also able to hollowize themselves and become separate individuals. But despite this, there's still a connection between the Digimon and the human partner. So I really am appreciating this so far. Hopefully we'll come back to this idea and we'll see where this takes us. The next quote I want to look at: aboard the Kagojimon, how dare they do that to my Numimon? Satsuki grits her teeth as she tends to her badly burned Numimon. Deputy Squad Leader, warning thresholds are exceeded. Hurry up and deactivate the mind link. No. The hollow-eyed Satsuki brushes off her subordinate's concern. But look what they did to my Numimon, that insolent code cracker. Next time, I'll make him pay. The Kagojimon returns its tilt rotor engines to horizontal position and ascends to the sea of networks at full speed. Looking down at the Waslum's 9th Avenue below, Satsuki Chodo's code cracker Eiji, I'll get you for this. So I actually like this climb for two reasons. The first one is the road building. Again, this is going back to, I believe it was part 3 when we first introduced to Satsuki. It's quickly explained that when one is mind-linked for too long, there's dangerous complications, or rather dangerous implications to that. But it's looking like that's not the issue here. It's not the length of time that Satsuki has been mind-linked, but rather the damage that's been done to Numimon, and thus the Numimon's Digicore. And so, Satsuki's more than likely feeling burned as well. I don't mean burnt out. I mean burned as in she's also been burnt. Because don't forget, Numimon got a direct hit from Howling Burner. So when the subordinate states you should deactivate the mind link, I think what's referring there is not the time limit, but rather the amount of damage that has been done. The fact that Satsuki wants to stay, I think that says a lot about her. It says two things in my opinion. The first one is she's quite stubborn. She obviously has looking like a streak for revenge as well, right? Especially with the way that it ends. But it also seems to imply that she really does care for Numimon. I know it's not stating that she's feeling hurt or she's feeling pain, but again, when it's described how the minds are connected via the Digi core, when they're mind linked, one can deduce, or at least I would hope, that Satsuki is feeling pain right now. And the fact that she doesn't want to mind link out of her Numimon shows me, the reader, that she wants to stay with the Numimon despite the pain. She wants to continue comforting Numimon and helping him recuperate. And I really appreciate that. I think that's quite awesome of Satsuki as a character. So yes, and then of course the way that it ends, I really just talked about that a little bit, really reinforcing how she's quite, she has an abundance of energy. She has no qualms. She has no qualms of demonstrating that energy. Some might be really annoyed by that, but I'm really appreciating that about Satsuki's character. Again, I might be a little bit biased because she does remind me of Estelle Bright from The Legend of Heroes: Trials in the Sky. The next quote I want to look at. That was really mean of you, informing on them to the police, just to them. Not even the DG Police Deputy Squad Leader was a match for them. I didn't think they'll set a mind linker of their own, but the results were about what you expect. Logormon is a prototype Digimon. What of that code cracker? I'm reserving judgment for now. It looks like the mapping job has been completed. They have already received the data from the mapping tool. You of course passed the SOC entry exam. I want as many mind link code crackers as I can possibly get. Do you think you can guide him? Eiji Nagasumi, I mean. Can you take his partner Digimon to new depths? I have to. It's a place we've been promised after all. Wouldn't you agree, Doromon? So this interaction really says a lot about what's going on. Again, this is a connection to when it was stated after the Eiji first meets with the interviewer. When it's discovered that they're mind linked, they're going to make the test harder. I'm enjoying how it's seeming like this is more the idea of the digital partner than the human partner, the human interviewer. And the human interviewer seems to have not really have agreed with the route that Doraemon had chosen to take. And despite this, though, obviously Eiji and Logomon was able to overcome this extra hurdle that was created that was purposefully created for them. I just like this because I'm going to deduce that this is more than likely going to be maybe not another protagonist, but at the very least another main facet of the story. This might be, for all we know, maybe it's not Tartarus, but maybe it's the second in command for Sons of Chaos. In case one is unaware, if you go to Digimon Seeker's website and look at the character list for Sons of Chaos, when you go to DigiPolice, there's 2 characters listed, Setsuki, and another character who is yet to have been introduced, though maybe we got her voice. But if one goes to part 4, they'll see what I mean, or whenever Setsuki first appeared with Judge/Leon. And then if they go to the Sons of Chaos section, they'll see 2 characters as well. The leader of Sons of Chaos, Tartarus, and an unnamed individual. So for all we know, maybe the partner of Doraemon is the second in command of Sons of Chaos. So there's little interactions between them. It might be nothing, but the fact that it's Doraemon, and Doraemon is present in the cover page for Digimon Seekers, I am thinking that this character, the human character, is going to play, if not a major role, then a substantial role going forward. And again, what I like about this quote is just the interaction between the Digimon and the human. And I also like how they're separating Logomon/Logomon from Eiji Nakasumi. So it's looking like they're not too impressed by Eiji. But more than likely, I do believe Eiji will end up impressing them in the same way that Logomon/Logomon has, because that's just who Eiji is, right? Again, he is naive, but when push comes to shove, he's a determined individual. Very reminiscent, or rather very reminiscent of Digimon Savers and Masaru. Although Masaru may seem stubborn superficially, when one digs deeper into it, Masaru, the only reason why he's able to accomplish what he does is not because of his stubbornness, but because of his accountability and his determinedness. Anywho, but yeah, that's why I like this quote. Moving on to my last quote. Pardon me. I'm serving judgment for now. It looks like the mapping job has been completed. Sorry, everyone. I think I read this already. Yes. Oh, no wonder I was confusing myself. So this was, I was originally going to separate these 2 quotes. I decided to read it as one whole quote. So excuse me about that. All right, so that's everything I want to focus on. Or rather, let me rephrase that. That's all the quotes that I wanted to focus on for this part. Is one still watching, or excuse me, is one still reading Digimon Seekers? Oh, excuse me, I was away from seeing myself, so excuse my hair. But if one is still reading Digimon Seekers, please let me know what your opinions of it so far. Are you still intrigued with the story? Are you feeling like Setsuki and Numimon, but rather than literally, you're figuratively starting to feel burnt out? You're feeling like, oh man, every week this is too little, not much is being discussed. I'm going to jump off into the whole chapter is out. I want to still reading it. Please let me know what's encouraged you to keep on reading. For me personally, I am just really appreciating the characterization. So for me, it seems to be a character-driven story, and I am really appreciative of Eiji, Logomon, Setsuki, everyone who's been introduced so far. So even this mysterious Sons of Chaos interviewer who so far has no name, but again, his partner is Doraemon, so it wouldn't surprise me if he'll be making a return and will be getting a name. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And watching. I do appreciate it. Have a prodigious day. And if you are reading Digimon Seekers still, I suppose I'll see you next week for part 18 and maybe even the end of chapter 1. But we'll see. Have a prodigious day and take care.